purple Kia Soul. What do you guys think about driving? I feel like driving is such a personal thing in terms of how people interpret it. For me, driving is therapy. It's time to myself, time to observe scenery, in this case, SeaWorld. It's time to just listen to music. It's meditation. It's time for me to just sort of get in my own thought and just think about life, think about what's going on, sort of grapple with different aspects of my life. But then there's people who view driving as almost like a chore. Oh, it's just, a way to get from point A to point B, and that's it. And if I didn't have to drive, I'd be so much happier. And I've never really understood that mindset, or at least I just can't relate to it. I can understand why someone might feel that way. Ooh, nice McLaren. I can understand why someone might feel that way, but I just can't empathize with it. And I'm curious, what do you guys think? For me, driving was something I really looked forward to ever since I was a little kid. Growing up playing video games, playing Need for Speed, playing Forza. Driving was always something that I looked forward to doing. And then as soon as I turned 15 and a half and got my permit, I was so excited to get behind the wheel and actually drive. And ever since, I've always enjoyed it. I've never really thought of it as ugh, I have to go drive somewhere. This is such a pain. No, I genuinely look forward to it. Obviously, traffic is traffic. No one enjoys just sitting and stopping at traffic. Just navigating the roads, being able to take in the sights. I mean, I've driven all over. I've driven from Texas to California and back. I've driven from Texas to Florida and back. Essentially the entire length of the United States, I've driven by car. And I've driven through the most boring scenery you could possibly imagine. I'm talking middle of nowhere, desert, dirt everywhere. There's nothing. And then I've driven through beautiful San Diego. And it's always an experience. Now, whether it's positive or negative, that can depend on a lot of variables. But in general, I enjoy driving. And I'm just curious what makes people view it as this chore. I understand that I'm driving a very nice vehicle. So that obviously probably plays a role. If I were to drive a vehicle that could barely function and was breaking down, it probably wouldn't be as enjoyable. So I understand that, but I don't know. I just don't understand the mindset. One of the things I enjoy most is driving a variety of vehicles. Whether it's a sporty sedan like this is a 3 Series 330i X-Drive BMW, whether it's driving a V8 muscle car like a Mustang, whether it's driving a Jeep Wrangler, big off-road vehicle. They're all different, but they're all fun. Obviously, some are better at certain things than others. Would I rather drive on a highway in this or a Jeep Wrangler? I'll pick this all day. But would I rather go off-roading in a Jeep Wrangler? Obviously. And I just don't understand how someone couldn't find joy in that. Part of it is you have to take the initiative to go find new roads, find scenic views, go explore. And that's always a good time, I think. Driving through some back road you've never been along and just seeing where it takes you. That's awesome. But I think some people just don't have that sense for adventure, at least behind the wheel. Maybe their outlet is something else. But for me, I mean, I love just driving off into the back country in the middle of, some unexplored part of town and just kind of cruising along, listening to music, especially if I have friends in the car and we can talk and chat about, whatever. I think it's very therapeutic. And the other thing too is in my opinion, cars have very different personalities. That Tesla right there and this BMW do not feel the same to drive. Even though they're both four-door sedans, and they're sporty four-door sedans. That's an EV. This is an internal combustion engine vehicle. There's just an inherent difference there. But that doesn't mean neither or one is more enjoyable than the other, it's going to depend on your preference. For me, I'd rather drive a car with an engine. Just because of my living situation, I'd rather not have to worry about charging or having, sort of the logistical issues of an EV. But I have driven a Model 3 before, and it can be a lot of fun. The acceleration's a blast. Now, whether that would get old after a while, I don't know. I think it's like anything. Familiarity breeds contempt. The more familiar you are with the vehicle, the more used to it you get, the more it might get boring or feel boring. And that's why you see these people who constantly are changing cars. They're leasing 3 years at a time and they're onto a new thing, and they never actually own a vehicle because they just crave something different every time. For me, financially, it's better to actually just own a vehicle. I don't have a payment on this vehicle, thankfully. But I would like to own another vehicle in the future. I think I'd really like to own a convertible. Living in San Diego, I think it's beautiful, perfect weather for it, and I think I'd really enjoy that. So, one day, once it makes financial sense, I'd enjoy driving around a drop top. And I'd also really like to drive a manual. I just learned to drive stick very recently, and man, is it fun. So much more engaging. I mean, this has paddle shifters, but it's not quite the same as operating a clutch in a stick shift. But anyways, thank you for listening to my TED Talk. I hope to see you all on the road.